Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the relaunch of
Raw Akademix!
Raw Akademix is a one-on-one talk show style vlog that features artists, activists, entrepreneurs, entertainment executives, and public figures of color, all hailing from the Los Angeles Metropolitan Area. These deep discussions are to inspire, motivate, and encourage all individuals to reflect on their abilities and reshape the lives of those who live around them. So without further ado, relax, enjoy the show, and don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, or follow buttons before leaving our channels. And once again, welcome to Raw Akademix. This show's guest is Kit, the coach and founder of Movement Runners. Chapter 1, take advantage of the experiences. If someone were to ask you to define Kit without using the terms like husband, father, or son, how would you describe yourself?
I would honestly say probably giver. I'm a bit of a big giver. Like, I'm always making sure that everybody else is good before I'm good. So I would say giver for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
it's the first thing that comes to mind.
And can you name any scenarios where you felt that you were extremely giving of yourself?
I would say mostly time. Just time in general. I give my time to a lot for others rather than putting myself first. For a particular, I would say mostly probably Skid Row, giving my every Saturday, third Saturday of the month, giving my time to Skid Row to make sure that there's people are out there that are good. But yeah, time.
You grew up here in South Central Los Angeles your entire life for more than 4 decades, you would say?
Yeah, I'm not that old. Pushing that. I am 40, but damn, don't remind me. Yeah, seems crazy when you say 4 decades.
What changes have you seen throughout the time that has actually impacted your life?
I would say more people coming together, being active. Just that simple. It wasn't like that before. Everybody kind of did their own thing, but now people are starting to come together and do things together. Hence running. I mean, running wasn't a big thing back in the 80s and the 90s to me, and even early the 20s. But now it's when we run it, when we get together, run. Not when we get together to hang out, but when we get together, go run. When we get together, go work out. So I would say that's the thing.
From an outside point of view, one would assume that your family made every effort they could do to steer you away from the atmosphere of South Central Los Angeles. Can you recall and talk about some of the actions that your parents did to ensure that you did steer away from the trouble that arose in the 80s and the 90s?
I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is they talked to me a lot. I didn't really understand the importance of how much talking just being more voice than the actions that they took. But everything was the talk. I was so tired of hearing the talks and the this is what you should and should not do. The experiences, take advantage of the experiences, but the talks. And then the most, I would say, profound would probably be just going to a high school that was not in the neighborhood. I went to Palisades. I didn't understand that either when I was younger, but as I got older, I realized why my parents sent me to Palisades, because more opportunities, more diverse culture, and just to get out of the neighborhood that I was raised in, just to experience something, which is probably one of the best things at a teenager's life. You don't get it until you get older, you're like, damn. So, but yeah, I would say just going to another high school, that took at least 45 minutes to get to from the house, when I could have just went to walk down the street. So it was weird. I didn't get it until, I got older. But yeah, I would say that, just going to Palisades for high school.
How long were the talks that you had with your parents?
These talks were 45 minutes.
Okay.
My parents are from the island, so they talk.
Right.
They talk. I would almost rather get a whooping than to go to those talks. That's how serious those talks were. And even before, I would say Palisades, my parents had me in Catholic school from kindergarten to 8th grade. And even after 8th grade, I went to 9th grade, another Catholic school. And I begged to get out of here, and that's why I was able to go to Palisades, which was cool.
Yeah, I was kind of like the same scenario growing up in a Haitian household. So,
right. Oh, so you know. So you know.
You
don't play.
Yeah, those talks were. That's why I asked how long were they, because I used to get like
sometimes
3 hours.
Yeah, you would catch yourself falling asleep during these talks.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long they were, and then waking back up like, damn, you still talking. But yeah, it was some long talk.
For someone who doesn't have the support of their family, what would you suggest they can get a similar kind of support?
I would say mostly from someone you trust. Definitely someone you trust. I would not necessarily say that a family that has both their mom and dad, are a perfect family. There's no such thing as a perfect family. But you just have to look for structure. Structure is everything. You can kind of feel when somebody has a good structure, and you kind of latch on to that person for guidance. And then also you have to be able to trust that person with certain things that you can't tell everybody. But yeah, I would say just having that structure. Make sure that person has structure. That way, you're structured. And you want to hang out with folks that are going places and not, just stagnant, staying in the same spot.
Gotcha.
That's what I would recommend.
That's the next one.
I know, right?
Sounds like it's coming back this way.
Yeah, it's South Central. They out. There's always something going down. When you don't hear all the helicopters, that's when it's a problem. And it's quiet, that's when you know something is up. You get a little weird, like, why is it so quiet? But you want to hear the helicopters, you want to hear the fireworks, you want to hear the sirens, because that's home, which is crazy.
Chapter 2, I got to get out. What's the biggest difference between the South Central Los Angeles today and the South Central that you grew up in?
I would say for me, just being older, the gang related lifestyle. I mean, it's kind of hard to picture the gang life now because I'm 40 years old, but at the age of teenager and before that, if you're at that age, you're either gangbanging or you're playing basketball. It doesn't matter what you were doing. Like, you only had two options. You're in South Central. You want to go outside. You either play basketball or you gangbang. Thank God that basketball was an outlet at that time. So for the difference between then and now, I would say that part, the gang part, because I don't see it as much. I don't don't know, because I'm older and I have a beard. I have grays in my hair, so it doesn't really hit me. But I'm pretty sure it still goes down, but it's probably just not as bad as what most of the guys that probably gangbang that were my age are either dead or in jail or started having a family. They just they got their stuff together and the right path. But 30, 40 years now, who knows? I'm pretty sure these youngsters still do it, but I don't think it's as bad as it really was. I don't see it as bad as it really was, but I'm pretty sure gangbang will never die. It's always going to be those no knuckleheads out there trying to prove something that don't have, families, so they have to resort to other stuff, which will probably be gangbang.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you think changed that the environment of South Central Los Angeles?
Honestly, people just got older. Everybody just got older. Time changed. People started realizing that wasn't the life for them. Ended up in jail. Ended up dead. Family members ended up in jail or dead. And they started having families, and they grew up. They grew out of it. And that's basically it. And the city has grown from then to now. There's a lot more to do than just gangbang and play basketball. So there's more outlets now than that, which is good. And that's what we need.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In 1998, and you joined the U.S. Coast Guard.
Right.
And then 2000, you joined the U.S. Army.
Right.
Correct? This was during a time frame where most black men were being discouraged from joining the military. What were some of the determining factors that pushed you to make that decision?
I was like I said before, just getting out of this atmosphere. I figured that if I stayed in this atmosphere, there was no good that was going to come out of it. There was no outlet. There was no opportunity back then. You didn't have, the same opportunities that you had if you went to I was at Cathedral, matter of fact, in my 9th grade year, which was a college preparatory school. I left Cathedral because I didn't want to be at all boys school, but that school was a pretty damn good school because it was a college preparatory. If I would have stayed at Cathedral, I would have definitely been driven to go to college, do this. Not saying that Palisades wasn't, but it was more basketball driven. Like if you didn't have a scholarship, you probably, you know, what you're gonna do, figure something out. But if I would have stayed at Cathedral, which was a college preparatory school, I would have definitely went to a college. There was 99.9% for me to go to the next level of education. So I didn't stay there, so I didn't have that same aspect. So I used the military for a gateway to get out of Los Angeles, South Central, back in '98. And at the time, I figured that was gonna plan out. You know, I felt like I was way more mature when I was 18 than now. Like now, I'm just like, you know, whatever happened. When I was 18, I was like, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna do 20 years, blah 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 blah.
Chapter 3: Appreciate South Central and appreciate the chill. Wow. So like, the military actually gave you? Would you say the military gave you like a
structure?
Not just structure, but like a bigger vision, like
definitely
a more long-term vision.
Definitely, they gave me like a 20-year like future lookout, rather than barely making it to my mid-20s being in South Central, ended up in the body bag or in prison or just in a drive-by. So some bad situation that I wasn't supposed to be at, you know. Yeah, I felt like nothing good was gonna come if I stayed.
Gotcha. So, you were stationed in Eureka, California, while you were in the military. So, what was the difference in the atmosphere in Eureka compared to Los Angeles?
So that's what I was saying earlier. Like when I got there, it was a ghost town. It was so quiet, so dry, basically boring. So, like I said, now when you hear the helicopters, when you hear the sirens, when you hear somebody gardening, you hear the fireworks, you're used to that because 20 years of your life, you're used to hearing that. You're home. When I got up there, all you heard was probably birds chirping. I was like, what is going on? It's freaking me out. Like, it's weird. I mean, because I was already like, you know, so it took me a while to like realize like this is the life. Like this is chill, you know, it's cool. So I started, you know, easing into that lifestyle, you know, super laid back, super chill, leave my car door open, my house door, key in the door. I was good. I was, you know, and then obviously when I came back to LA, you got to get back on your P's and Q's. You got to lock your car, you got to lock your door. You're hearing the sirens, blah, blah, blah. So it was like I had to turn on the switch, turn it off. But we need that, you know, we all need that. So yeah. Gotcha.
So do you, I mean, obviously you don't, you know, regret coming back, but do you have, I guess, like a better sense of appreciation of the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles compared to Eureka?
Oh, definitely. I actually said when I first got out of boot camp, I was like, I want to come back to LA. I didn't want to be there. I actually didn't want to be there at all. And so I made sure that I was stationed not too far so I could drive and make trips. But to your question, you appreciate the both. You appreciate the South Central and you appreciate the chill. Like I always say, 50, 60 years old, that's the place I want to live because it's so peaceful and quiet. I don't have to worry about anything. But it's boring for me to live right now. I need that. Like, what are we doing? What's your next mission? What's your next grind? What you doing with your life? Why are you not making any money then? Out there, you didn't have to worry. It was just like, blah, you're just hanging out, chilling. I was like, I got to get out of this. So I came back to LA and it was back to the hurry up and wait. Out there, you're just chilling. You're good. You don't have no rush to be anywhere. Everything is slow paced, slow motion. I have 2 clients that actually said the same exact thing this week. The radio station wanted to play soccer up there. It was like, that's the place to go when you want to retire because it's chill. Yeah.
Nice. So tell us about some of the things that happened when you came home from the military.
Like home or home to visit?
Well, just home. Like, did you start work right away? Did you?
So I would come home. I would come home and visit, and when I would come home and visit, those same friends that were like, "Man, you should join." They were still doing the same thing, hanging out, trying to figure out what they were doing. So those friends were like, man, you did a good job by not listening to us. Blah, blah, blah. But when I finally did come back home, when I was actually done, it was a little bit of like a stagnant point, like what do I do now? Because I had the admission and intent to stay here for 20 years, blah, 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 blah. So now I had to become a civilian again and kind of start from scratch. Like, now what you want to do at like my mid-20s. So it was kind of like, I would say almost like a little depression era stage, because in the back of my mind, I didn't think I would make it this far in South Central. Now I'm back in South Central, and I'm at the age of like, I think 23, 24. And I was like, ooh, what do I do now? So it was kind of like, let me get it together before I fall off. So I went to medical school and for like about a year, and then worked at hospitals, doctor's offices, you name it, any type of surgeons, I was with them. And I did that probably for like a good 10 years. It was cool.
Chapter 4. I could do what I want to do. Nice.
Yeah.
So, what did you do in the medical field exactly?
So when I first got in the medical field, as a medical assistant, first thing I did was work for the doctors. It's a long time ago. The doctor that would do pre-ops. So basically, draw blood, EKG.
Oh, okay.
And we saw probably like 60 patients in a day. It was a small little clinic at the time. And I think it was like a Wilshire and like Normandy, and then we used to see patients. That was like some work, but it was cool. It was fun. I got to meet a lot of people. Got a little bit more fluent on my Spanish. It was cool. And then I worked for an orthopedic doctor, and then a neurosurgeon doctor, spine surgeon, and then the last doctor that I worked for was a urology doctor. And that was, I would say, that's probably one of the most underrated doctor in the game, because of everything that goes on in our bodies. It's like urology. Like, you know, if you don't drink enough water, you're gonna get a kidney stone. If you drink too much water, you get a UTI. So I was like, man, you gotta be careful. You can't do nothing out here in the street. But yeah, but it was cool. So I did that, and I loved it. It was cool.
Going back to your life, the dark moments, or you said you experienced some sort of like
yeah, I would say like early 20s when I came back home and I didn't have just that vision anymore. I didn't have that light. I didn't have that push, and I was just here. And thank God that I have supportive parents. You know, that made sure that I was good. I had somewhere to stay. I had somewhere to eat. But when I came back home in my mid-20s, it was kind of like, damn, it's kind of starting from scratch now. Mind you, I was in the military at 18. Everything was set in stone. Money was coming in, income was coming in, bills was being paid. I had a job to go to 24/7, and that just stopped. So when that stopped, it'll hit any person that's been in the military. Like, you're being told what to do 24/7. Now you can actually do what you want to do. So when I was in my mid-20s, I didn't understand that. Like, I had that power of like, wow, I can do what I want to do. But we, or myself, everybody as an individual, once you realize you can start doing what you want to do, is where you can just do what you want to do. You have that power. I didn't get it when I was 20. I didn't get that feeling again until probably like my mid-30s again, where I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And I sat down again, I was like, and then it hit me, I was like, I can do what I want to do. And that's when I started doing what I want to do. That's when I was probably started getting the most happiest and enjoying life in like my mid-30s, because now I'm doing what I want to do. I wasn't doing what somebody else was telling me to do.
Right.
I wasn't going where people were telling me where to go. I wasn't spending money on where I needed to be spent. I was doing what I wanted to do, and I was having fun, and it was awesome. And I'm still doing this, which is pretty dope.
Just going back a little bit. So when you went into the military, you were thinking that you were gonna stay there for 20 years.
20 plus.
20 plus years.
I was saying resigning there, having a house, family. You know, I had it all planned out. Like I said, I feel like I was way more on it, like mature wise. Like, it was like a whole nother person. Until like my mid-30s, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing what everybody wants to do. I'm gonna start doing what I want to do. And that's when, you know, of course, you're gonna go through like, damn, what do I do now?
Right.
Once you figure that out, it's a wrap.
What made you decide that you were going to leave the military early?
A couple things. When I had got out, I would say it was like right around 9/11, and I actually didn't want to get out. I actually was already in that mind frame of like, oh yeah, we're going. So what they do, they pick up a bunch of us because you're in the reserve. When something like that happens, everybody's activated. So I was activated probably like a good 7 to 8 months before like they told me where I was going to go. So in that process, you're being tested like eyesight, physical tests, blah blah blah, and then you're just going through the motion. So at that point, you're just like, you know what, I'm ready. Like they kind of like hype you up for the get down. So I was hyped for the get down, and I was like, you know what, hold on a second. I just need to go tell my parents that I'm probably not gonna come back home ever again. And it was like, I had a cool sergeant at the time, because that's not how it's supposed to go down. It's like, you signed up, you gotta go. I was like, let me just go home to tell my parents, you know what, they all probably ain't gonna see me no more. Like, that's the least I felt like I could give my parents. Took a flight, came home. I think the flight was like literally, I was supposed to like leave the next day. It was like literally come home, and me and my dad, low key got into it. He was like, I don't care what you do, but you got to come home. And I was like, nah, you good. You know, you gonna get paid after I die. You gonna get this. You brainwashed.
Right.
Like I didn't realize what I was saying until like I got older. Like, man, I really said that to Pops. Like, it's nuts. He was like, listen, I don't care about none of that money. Blah blah blah. Come home, start from scratch. It's gonna be all right. I was like, no, I'm not finna come scratch. I'm good. Like, I'm finna get paid. Like, make a long story short, I was like, you know what? All right. Pops ain't never steered me wrong. Let me just listen. Till this day, I haven't heard from not one person that went when I was supposed to go. Not one single person. With social media, Instagram, Facebook, you would think you would hear from one person. Not one single person.
So you were supposed to go off to Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
And so, all right. So you were, I guess, like from reserve to actually active.
Oh yeah.
How did you get deactivated or?
So, and like I said, it's so crazy. Like, God has truly blessed me. Like, when you're in, you're in. I was signing up under yearly contracts. Like, I was like, let me think about it. I don't know about signing up for 3 years, 6 years. I was like, I'll do it. Just give me a year. So I did that 1 year. And so I was just like, well, what we doing? What we doing? You signed up for another stuff. I was like, 1 more year. So next year came, and then 9/11 happened, and then when we got activated, I had literally maybe like 3 more weeks. And he was like, I gotta sign you up. And I was like, hold that. I'm actually gonna go back home. Oh my gosh, he was so pissed. Because he let me, you know,
go
home, do the thing, blah, blah, blah. I haven't even heard from him.
Wow.
It was Sergeant Rodriguez. And I think he had a brother, and they actually lived down the street from me. So you know I would have, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't like getting into it because it's, it's kind of sad. It's actually really sad. But yeah, that was that time.
Chapter 5. Starting from scratch in your mid-30s. In your mid-30s, you took control of your life again. What was, can you repeat or remind me of the reason of why you wanted to take control of your life again?
There was a lot going on in my mid-30s. I would say, yeah. I would say, first of all, the job. The job was really cool. Working with the urology doctor, learned a lot. Learned a whole lot, actually. The people that I work with are great. But it was very stressful, very stressful. And I know for a fact we all we're going through stressful like situations. Because I can see like their facial expression. I'm like, dude, we straight up stressed, we working. And it was a lot. And the thing that basically did it for me, at the time I had a truck. I had a Chevy Avalanche truck. And I remember parking my truck. Right, I remember parking my truck in a small spot and coming from work, and I was so angry at work that I scraped my whole truck. And I was like, damn. Now 10 years with this truck, I have never scraped it, never scratched it, blah blah blah. Thank God, like, and I just, from being mad at my job, that's why I was like, you know what, I'm not going back. But it was several things that led up to like that. I was just like so angry. And I mean, it was a lot. Like, it was like thing after thing after thing. I was like, I quit. I was like, I don't care what happens, I quit. And then I quit, and I was like, damn, that was a good feeling. Now I get to start from scratch again. Now I get to do what I want to do. Because I had certain, at that job, I had certain things that was already on my mind. Like the fitness was on my mind. I would drink a gallon a day so I can go to the restroom and do push-ups and squats in the restroom every hour and a half. My boss was like, you going to the restroom again? I was like, yep, drinking that water. Go to the restroom, put some towels down, do some push-ups. I was like, man, it'd be nice to just work out 24/7 during the day. And I can't do that. I got bills. And then I had just started moving runners, so I would be on my phone at the job. Obviously, you know, when you're at work, your boss was like, damn, you always on your phone. I was just trying to get people to come to the run. Like, I couldn't tell her that. I was like, I wasn't like, you know, being mischievous. I was like, I'm just trying to like get people to come to run. And so now I can do all of that with my time. So obviously, you know, you gotta make money. So I was like, man, I need to start making money. So I started doing Uber. Uber was the first thing that I did that I was like, you know what, you can do it on your own time at the time. That was the thing. Once I realized that I could make my own schedule, the light bulb went off, and I was like, and I feel like Uber is what was the kick in my ass. Was like, you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, not when somebody else wants you to do it. And that's when I think I did Uber for like a month. It was just maybe 2 months. The first time I had made money, I was like, damn. I only did 2 rides, and then I came home because I was so excited. I was so excited. I was like, I just made money and went home. It was like 10 o'clock, and I was nervous because I was like, I don't know about picking up people. I'm pretty sure now it's even more weird, but back then, you know, it was weird, but it wasn't too weird when you're making money. It was like, cool. Then you start driving Uber. I think you done Uber. As you start driving Uber, you start meeting cool people. Then you start entrepreneuring. You just like, man. So, like I said, I think do Uber for like a month, 2 months, and then that's when I started doing personal training, and then the rest is like history. The running crew took off, and then started doing t-shirts at the house. Yeah, it's been dope.
So what inspired you to create runners?
Honestly, I just hated running by myself. I would go run with other groups and invite people to run. Nobody would ever come. They would tell me if I started running group, they would come. I was like, no, so I just did it, just to prove them wrong. And then people showed up the first run and asked me when I was doing it again. I was like, damn, let's keep running. 6 years later,
So when did it exactly begin? Like,
this is going into 6 years. So we're looking at 2014, 2015, around November. I had made a bet for the high school friend, for junior high school friend. He was like, just try it. It was $1 bet. So I invited like 30 people. I invited like 40 people. And come out to a pool. Yeah, I'll come. You know, people tell you to come. I was like, they ain't coming. So I get there, you know, early, 20, 30 minutes before the run. And it's like having a party and you wait for people to show up. And then you start getting to your feelings like ain't nobody showing up. So as soon as I had the truck at the time. I was sitting on my truck with a little stool step or whatever. And as soon as I I always have a banana for the run. I still do it now. I put the banana down. I was like, well, I tried. I remember put my left foot down. Before my left foot had even touched the ground, I saw a car pull up to the side. And I was like, oh, that's the homie Carlos, for sure. If nobody else comes, me and Carlos, you know, we're finna run a mile and come back. As soon as Carlos hit that corner, 4 other cars hit the corner, and I just got goosebumps. Like, you just get that feeling. Like, that feeling I actually still look for, because you're just like, they showed up. And so, like, no matter even, like, you know you gotta run, like, yeah, I really gotta run. You get excited to see people show up. Because you ain't seen them in a minute, or, you know, they cool peeps. 30 people showed up. I was like, man, guess you gotta run. So we ran, it was cool. It's a hard run, 3 miles around, the forum. Ran around the forum, come back to the park, blah, 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 came back. He was like, damn, that was cool when we running again. And I was like, I didn't get that far. I was like, this is one time. I was like, we can run every other Sunday. You know, Saturdays is hurt. I'm not trying to jump up every Sunday and run.
right.
And by the next 2 months, we was running every Sunday. By the New Year's past, we were running every Tuesdays, Sundays. We were running races.
Wow.
I'm like,
grew that quick.
yeah. So, I always tell people, if you got an idea, do it ASAP. Like right now, because you It might change your life. It changed mine. Just from that one idea. Like, literally. I didn't want to do it. I'll tell you right now, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be bothered with, like, setting up runs, setting up the route. But it's actually not bad. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I don't know how to do it, actually, sometimes. Yeah. But now, they've gotten so on it. They're doing their own things now, so they're helping me. I need that help. Like, I'll be there for your support. You told me about that race, so it's cool now. There's many more hands in it than mine. But back in the, oh man, it was hard. It was rough. But it was good. It was worth it.
What was hard? What was the hardest part?
I'd say the hardest part is probably trying to plan the routes for LA Marathon training. You want to pick somewhere safe. You want to pick somewhere not too many cars. You want to pick a route that's going to do the amount of miles that you need. That's the trickiest part. So I don't tell a lot of people, but I was going out there like Saturday morning, Saturday at night, late at night, driving the route, sometimes biking the route, just to make sure that we were getting the amount of miles. I probably will never do that again because it's hard. That was the hardest thing. I would say nothing's as hard as that. That would actually really suck. Because I would do some routes.
Figuring out the routes.
Yeah, I would actually do some routes and then go into a dead end and have to start from scratch. And then mind you, the next day I got to go out and run it. So looking at the route and then going to do the route, that sucks too. Like going to drive the route and then going to run the route the next day, it's mine. It's like, yeah, I had to like talk to myself. That's terrible. But I'm not doing that anymore. I do everything else but that. That sucks. I would say that. Actually, honestly, that's probably the only hard thing. Everything else is probably like falls into that. But planning the route the day before, and because you know you wrong me, I don't plan the route when I do regular runs. I just run. They're like, where we going? I was like, I don't know. We may go left here, may go right here, and it's fun.
Right.
But actually knowing the route and planning it out, and then driving in there, that's what's fun. But yeah, I'm done there.
Through movement runners, it seems like you've shown a lot of altruistic and leadership qualities about yourself. Where did you think you developed those qualities? You gave me that look like you don't even think that you have those qualities.
I mean, if anything, my parents, like for sure, my parents. Like, I mean, I didn't see myself being a leader. I don't see myself, honestly, like it sounds weird, as a leader. I feel like I set a tone for myself to do what I want to do, and I felt like the tone that I set, people kind of follow it, if that makes sense. But I don't see myself like as a leader. Like I don't see myself standing. Like I didn't even see myself like doing these like records. Like no, not. That's why I was like, no, I'm not doing it. But I would say that you mentioned it. I feel like the tone that I have, people want to follow it, and I feel like I've always had that since the beginning, like the time, like second grade, all the way through high school. I've always wanted to have fun. I try to make the best out of every situation, and I guess people just kind of like being around me. But whether if I want to do something that's bad, people try to follow it. If I want to do something good, people want to follow it. So as I got older, I was like, I should probably start doing more good than trying to hang out and go to the club, to the bar, because we did have a whole crew doing that. Like in the early 20s, it was people would come over here to the house, moms would give them some fruit. It was the spot to be, but we out in the clubs getting some mischief, So I was like, as I started getting older, I was like, we need to start taking care of our bodies. Let's get into like some workouts, let's get to some runs, and they fell right into that,